I'm in Pascagoula, Mississippi, and I'm here to meet with Calvin Parker, who was involved in the 1973 UFO abduction case.
Calvin's story was met with such skepticism and ridicule that he spent the rest of his life in hiding. He's barely spoken about what happened that night in more than 30 years.
He still lives here in the area, and I'm really excited to talk with him about all the details because I understand it really impacted his life. Nice to meet you.
Come on in.
Thank you, thank you.
Hi, Ben. I'm Wynette.
Wynette, pleasure to meet you as well.
Calvin's wife, Wynette, has avoided the cameras since the abduction. However, she's agreed to make an exception for Ben.
So this is, how long you lived here?
Since right after Katrina. Never would use my real name to my neighbors.
Really?
They didn't find out who I was till last year.
Are you serious?
I am dead
How
serious.
long did you use the other name for?
45 years.
45 years. Wynette, is it?
Yes.
So you, I understand, were with him from the beginning. You were engaged
We were
when
engaged.
this happened.
Yeah, this happened in October, and we was engaged to get married in November.
This is the first time Wynette has ever gone on the record with her account of Calvin's ordeal. Until now, she's been wary of telling her story.
How did that impact you?
It was very difficult. And how I knew something bad, tremendously bad, had happened to him. For the first 2 months after all this happened, his mouth quivered. I mean, it was like a nervous, and he had never done that before.
Calvin, I know that you didn't want to talk about this for decades. It's probably still hard for you, but can you take me back to that night and just kind of walk me through step by step what happened?
Absolutely. We got off around 5 o'clock that evening. We parked and walked down to the pier. And that's when I noticed, coming from behind me, there was some hazy blue lights, like the patrol cars use. And I was thinking, oh boy, we fixing to go to jail. And we turned around about the same time and looked. There was 3 bulky-looking creatures coming toward us. They was gray in color. They had skin that kind of looked like an elephant. So one grabbed me by the left arm, and I automatically felt an injection. It paralyzed me. I could roll my eyes, but that's all I could move. And this thing took us toward this craft, and this big, ugly creature takes me toward this table and laid me at a 45-degree angle. And then I felt this presence coming in, and it's what I call a female. Her 2 middle fingers was a little bit longer on each hand. Then she grabbed my chin, and she took her 2 middle fingers from this other hand. She ran them down my throat. And I started choking and bleeding. And that's when I noticed how they looked. It wasn't nothing like I've never seen in this world. This other thing come alive like a jack-in-the-box, and he got me by the left arm, and I felt this injection again. He carried me out to the riverbank, and this is when I remember hearing Charlie say, son, you okay? Sometimes I feel like I've had people tell me that they was angels that was cast out of heaven, and I don't believe that. If I was gonna make an educated guess about it, that they had to be from another galaxy or planet or something like that and traveling by.
So not from this world?
No, they're not from this world. I guarantee that.
Wow, absolutely incredible. Did you notice anything? Were there eyes, ears?
I didn't notice anything about their face.
What about the arms?
Their hands looked like they had mittens on, or I call them crab-like hands.
Okay, so the hands were kind of like pinchers, but the female had a sharp claw.
Right.
This is a drawing from Dr. Hynek's Project Blue Book file that was rendered from Charles and Calvin's descriptions. This is the first time Calvin's ever seen it.
Would you say that this looked anything like what you had seen in the entities that brought you on board?
Yeah, this is similar. The neck's pretty close to right, and the hands is pretty close to right. You know, and his arms, the arms was just a little bit longer in proportion with the body.
Okay.
So did you guys call the cops?
Yeah, I said, look, best thing for us to do is not tell nobody. But Charles called Jackson County Sheriff Department, and he started to tell them what happened, and I was thinking, what an idiot, you know. 2 patrolmen come pulling up. Him and his deputy put us in a car and took us to the Keesler Air Force Base. We got to the gate, and they escorted us on in to the back. They was 6 men dressed in hazmat suits. Told everybody else to step back, step away from us. And when they opened them doors, they had every law enforcement in the 3 counties down here. And they said, we need for y'all to tell us what happened. And I said, well, let Charlie tell you. He's good running his mouth. And so Charlie told the story.
When you followed me, I seen 3 things. The ears was gun at pointed. They didn't have a mouth like we did. It looked like open under their nose.
Throughout the entire interrogation, neither Calvin nor Charlie changed their story. The evidence that both men were telling the truth was overwhelming. But after their interviews, Charles and Calvin were simply dismissed with no follow-up.
So they took us back. We went on back to Charlie's apartment. I was renting a room from him. And I went into my room. I just walked in the door, and I took all my clothes off. Then I got in a shower, and there was a gallon of bleach in there, and I turned the hot water on as hot as I could stand it. And I took that gallon of bleach, and I poured all over my head, and I rubbed it in all over my body. But I figured that would kill any germs or anything I had on me.
Would violated be a good word?
Yeah, I do feel violated. Yeah. And it's affected me even up to this date because I've never really trusted a lot of people.